Landmark Group, and we just wanted to give an update on the climber situation. Praise God, they've all been rescued. The climbers were the first ones to get to them about an hour and a half ago, and within about 20 minutes of the rescue climbers getting to them, the Chinook helicopter got to them and brought them down. I talked to Steve folks myself personally. They are all safe. There are some very interesting kind of things that I thought that would be, interesting to watch. The first night was very rough for them. They did not know that there was an extra room at the STAR site. So the first night was really cold, and so it wasn't until the second day that they got to the STARS, which is kind of a cache or an area that has emergency supplies. They got through the emergency supplies, not through the code. They did not get the code. They never got that text. They never got any of our text messages. They had no idea that we got theirs. They only sent a bunch of text messages, and Randy thought that she was communicating with it, but it was just text messages streaming in that they all had sent at one time. After Phil's phone died, they tried to get Steve's battery to work with Steve's Phil's phone, which was not going to happen. It took 12 hours to climb the mountain. The first time, the 8th climbing party, we'll call it, got into it, took 8.5, so it took them a little longer than 3 hours to start that it took up. To give you a perspective, the mountain is 11 hours long each way, 100 miles. It's often referred to as doing a marathon. The food, there was a little attitude there. It was 11 years old. They had brought enough food. They just, as I said, they were really fresh conflict. They kind of stuck to their training and everything we talked about, brought enough food as this would happen, and they were able to rely on food, and they actually had extra food. If they had to go even longer. They were able to melt snow, so they really didn't get dehydrated. Phil is the only one that got really dehydrated. The other two guys did not. But the melting snow caused a problem with condensation in the hut, so they were really wet. And that's kind of warm and wet. Kind of the big thing is that they thought the kind of team that I was on was lost too. So they thought there were 2 lost groups, and they were just one lost group, and they were planning if they were going to be rescued today, we were planning on leaving tomorrow to go out there. The snow was incredibly deep. Steve had thought to leave the shelter, but it was more crawling than walking. They did not have snowshoes. They were not prepared for that depth of snow. We also want to really think that the U.S. Parks Department did an awesome job keeping everybody informed. People's dad, Jim, said they stepped away before what was going on. These guys did everything in their power to get them off that mountain as soon as possible. We don't know anything more about the 2 other climbers. There's very limited information if those climbers were actually lost or, Steve and Dale and Bill didn't see anybody else. It was only them, and they thought that nobody knew that they were there. Nobody had an idea that they were there, and the Alpha climbing team, they thought the first climbing team that we did not get down. There was no way we could have got to the condition. So, that's it.
Can you go over again how they were actually located and then how the rescue team got to them?
Okay, how they were located is they sent us a text message. Bill sent several text messages to several different people, myself, my wife, and Randy, and I think a few other people saying where they were at. We got all those, and so we knew where they were at that way. So the climbing parties just worked over the last 2 days. The rescue parties will be up there, and they found them in the shelter.
Why was it so late?
Well, the Parks Department told me the first thing to do is wait for them to start rescue. So the first day they waited for that to happen, and that was obviously not apparent. The second day was yesterday. They made an attempt to get up there with a 2-man climbing team. That was apparent that was not going to happen because the depth of snow 2 men could not get there before dark, and it's very difficult to climb in the dark. And then so today an attempt was made with more of an exhibition type rescue, and the helicopter was not really an option until today. It's not good enough. I mean, when it snowed in 6 feet from me to the canvas. You can't even see that far. So, I mean, the helicopter, where's the mountain, so.
How many people were involved in the effort to
according to what we read on the Parks website, 45 people.
So when you talked to Steve, did you talk?
Yeah, I talked to Steve personally.
Did he sound relieved when you looked at what did you
you met Steve, you'd understand he's very calm. He was fine. There's not really a problem. They're happy to be down. They're just, glad to be safe. Nice to be finally warm, finally, and dry. I have not talked to Dale still. Randy did talk to Phil. Phil did have to go to the hospital, but he's already dehydrated so bad.
Did any of the 45 search crews get to them on foot, or were they reached by the helicopter?
No, they reached by foot first. The first rescue team was reached by foot. Yeah, and within about 20 or 30 minutes of assessing the situation, the helicopter arrived back down.
So, I know you said that they might be coming back on the 22nd, but between now and then, we're looking at...
Well, I mean, they're all anxious to get home. You know, two of the guys have families here, so, I mean, they're anxious to get home. I know it's right here.
And they were helicoptered out.
They were helicoptered out. They were helicoptered from the peak to the airport in Mt Whitney. It's a very small town, the base of Mt Whitney.
Was the helicopter able to land on the peak there to get them?
I would imagine. I don't know. Yeah, almost. The top is relatively flat. It's not like some mountains where, specifically Quandary's not flat at the top. Rainier's flat at the top too, so.
Is this shelter right at the top?
Yeah, it's right on the top. The tops of all mountains have like a U.S. Geological Survey medallion at the top of them, and it was within 20 feet of that medallion.
So the one that we saw in your video?
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned they didn't know they could sleep within that shelter the first night, so the first night they slept?
They slept in the shelter, but there's kind of two parts. The shelter has an area that's kind of like public space that anybody can get into, and so they stayed in that shelter. And then obviously the second day they knew they could see. Really, it was a matter of seeing because their lights were dead by then. They couldn't see how to get around. So once they got light, they figured out how to get into that space.
And it was warm.
It was warm, yeah. There was heat in there. There was kerosene. There was heat to heat the space, heat the water.
So how long were they actually lost for?
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Monday night we saw them. Monday afternoon we saw them at. We left on at 2 o'clock, and so until an hour or two ago. So that's how long they were lost. Now we got some text messages, but they never got us. So the last time we were calling you.
What did you guys get the text messages though?
We got them the next morning, the Tuesday morning on 6 a.m.
So you were aware of where they were?
We were aware they were. When we woke up the next morning, we were where they were at. They did not know that we did that.
Because you were aware of where they were at 6 a.m. yesterday?
6 a.m. Tuesday.
Oh, okay, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't know you guys made it
We didn't know,
down.
yeah, they had no idea. They thought we were lost too. They thought there's no way that you guys would get out that mountain.
Well, what is that? Was it the snow that's cracking up?
Yeah, it was the depth of snow, but more of actually probably that they couldn't see. That would probably be more of a problem. If it was a clear day and you could see, you would definitely, make an attempt at it, but if you can't see, with that kind of blowing the snow.
What trail did you guys go on?
Well, we started, I don't know what it's called, but we started from the Mt Whitney portal. There's another trail that starts at Crabtree, I think it's called. I can't remember the name of that. There's a ranger station on the west side of the mountain. We started on the east side of the mountain. The portal we started at, there's like basically a gift shop. It's there's a state park, there's a parking lot, which is very unlike a lot of mountains. It's not that way, especially the one in Colorado that's very remote. It's just off the side of the road trail, you just park the car, start walking. This is very different before we started that. Okay. Thank you.
Wait for the camera. The camera people.
Oh, I thought I thought you were videotaping yourself.
Rael wants to get all in the video, so we're gonna put her all in the video. Hi, Rael.
Hi.
AKA Raz. I finally got her name. I'm shocked I'm saying her name right. And this is Abby Cape. Dino 1.
I'm Dino 2.
Dino 2. And these are all the news people. I'm going to go look at the news people. Some of the news people. That's they.
First 15 seconds of fame.
I know. There it is. I couldn't get none of that. I should have went. I'm upset I didn't go. Should have got some of that.
She talked to you.
Take my car.
It's late. I recognize her. Yeah, I knew it was something McCutcheon. I couldn't remember the first name, but I said, yeah, she's a popular one. I know her. I didn't know none of the other people.
Yeah, I didn't really come up with that.
Yeah.
Some of them were really, really new though.
Yeah. You do a couple stories yourself. I've seen you on there a couple of times. Yeah.
Jim was out there. Yep. I just remember Jamie. I would like to come catch
Say hi to the camera one time, Jamie. We all recognize you. I recognize her from the news all the time.
I don't let my kids watch Yeah, they rarely.
Yep, here's Sybil, aka low, what is it, platelets or something low? Aka the big baby. I'm sick. I'm sick. And here's Larry. This is Larry. Larry's the go-to guy. If you need a rekey at 550, that's your guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
And here's Mary, here's the mother. She's the happy person. She said I thought they were going to eat Phil, but Mary said they wasn't going to eat Phil.
Exactly.
Everything was going to be all right, right, Mary?
Exactly right.
I'm going to remember that picture.
But it was just kind of separated, locked off.
Here's Dina.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm just doing the whole video of everybody.
Get this thing uploaded so Richard can upload it to our website.
Alright, well, let's see.
Welcome back,
I was going to get Richard sleeping.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome back,
Go get him,
guys.
Tiger.
What?
Good job, Steve. I love you, man.
All right, now get to work.
Tell him he didn't complete the mountain, too.
Yeah, oh yeah. And Steve, by the way, there's a serious asterisk behind your name. Mt Whitney with an asterisk. Scroll to the bottom of the page of my website. Shouldn't have write down.
Oh, but how do you stop it?
I've now got two asterisks behind you.
How do you stop it?
I think you just hit that button there.